Craig, Officer Sonny Kim came to work today on his day off. He was filling someone's shift for them. And then this call, his first call of the day, would tragically be his last.
For some reason, I feel like he's walking around being belligerent with a gun.
The call comes from Madisonville. The caller is clearly nervous and upset.
It was happening so fast, I couldn't think.
He describes a short black male in his early 20s. Then he gives the dispatcher his name.
My name is Trey Pierre.
Not only did he call 911 once, but he called back a second time.
Officer Sonny Kim, with 27 years on the force, was the first on the scene.
Hey, 20, shots fired, shots fired.
What happens next is a blur of gunfire, fighting, and sirens. Cincinnati's top cop calling the shootout an ambush Friday night, and cryptic social media posts and texts saying goodbye hours before his death. This scene plays out in front of a family stunned.
He done been in some trouble, but my baby ain't no bad person.
We are following breaking news out of New Orleans. A manhunt underway there after a police officer was shot and killed. According to our affiliate there in New Orleans, the police officer from the New Orleans Police Department was transporting a suspect. The suspect grabbed the officer's gun and shot him in the head. According to police officer Daryl Holloway, a 22-year veteran, was killed by a suspect named Travis Boys, 33 years old. Boys right now is still on the run. A massive manhunt there in New Orleans looking for Travis Boys, 5'11", with a tattoo on the left side of his neck.
Today, shortly after 9 o'clock in the morning, on the 7100 block of North 60th Street, in the parking lot just north of the apartment complex, two plainclothes Wauwatosa police detectives and one uniformed Wauwatosa officer were following up on a burglary in that city. They were looking for a suspect. They confronted a suspect in a vehicle in the parking lot. The suspect opened fire on the officers. One of the detectives was struck by a bullet fired by the suspect.
The barrel looked like it was about right here. And like I said, temporarily went blind and deaf because of it.
7-year Cleveland police officer Billy Edwards talks publicly about a day he will never forget. January 21st, he was in a scuffle with a robbery suspect when the man pulled a gun and fired a shot, narrowly missing him. This photo shows just how close it was, leaving burn marks on his face.
It's an image that probably lasted a split second, but it seemed like an hour. And it was almost like I couldn't do anything about it. It was in my face, and whatever happened, thank God I got out of the way in time.
Around 5 p.m., officers responded to a call about a burglary at a home on East 61st Street. Police say the suspect had already fired a shot at the 82-year-old homeowner who came home during the burglary. Investigators say about an hour and a half later, Officer Edwards and his partner saw the suspect's vehicle in a driveway on Riddell Avenue. They say 37-year-old Ellis Tiller then jumped out of the passenger side and fired when Edwards caught up with him.
The partner continued to struggle with him, and eventually we were able to win, thank God.
Monday, Tiller was sentenced to 20 years behind bars. Officer Edwards says he forgives him, but finds it harder to forgive bystanders on the street who were shouting vulgarities and taunting him, even though he never fired a shot.
Every day, cops are victims of racial harassment, taunting, vandalism, assault, and sometimes even death. Hi, this is Colin Flaherty. I'm the author of Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Here we talk about black mob violence, black on white crime, the knockout game, all without racism, without rancor, without apology. When I finished the first draft of my book, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, it was a really big book, 950 pages, way too big, so I had to cut it in half. But the one part I absolutely didn't touch were all the stories about black mob violence and black on cop violence. All directed at cops. There's an enormous amount of it going on out there. It's been happening for a couple of years. I've been talking about it for a couple of years. I documented it not just in my book with lots of links, lots of videos. I have over 50 videos of this on my YouTube channel. This is now a routine part of the job. Cops are surrounded. Whenever they roll into a black neighborhood, they're surrounded, taunted, harassed. People throw bottles, rocks. Earlier this week, I did two talk radio shows this week with former cops. One in New Orleans with a guy named Lou Magri. He started the police officer union in New Orleans more than a few years ago. And I did another show with a former cop in South Carolina. She was a cop in New York. And I asked them something I've asked pretty much every talk show host I've been on with over the last few months. Where are the cop unions? Where are the police officers' organizations? The Federal Order of Police. It goes under Fraternal Order of Police. They go under different names in different towns. But it's the labor union. They are the ones who are supposed to be protecting their members. They've been sitting this out. They've been silent as their members have been put into increasing amount of danger on the job. But you know what? This week, Friday, in Louisville, a hero emerged. The head of the labor union, the cop labor union, cop association in Louisville released a letter. Let's give it a read. Consider this an open letter to the public we serve, to the criminal element in our city, and the self-appointed spokespersons who choose to remain blind to reason, who use misinformation and who sensationalize tragedy at every opportunity to forward their political agendas. Know this: the members of River City FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 614, who serve and protect Louisville every day, will no longer stand on the sidelines while anyone continues to assault and demonize us. To those of you that support us while we serve and protect you, thank you. Although you are not chosen for media interviews, we know that you understand we are here for you and your families. We know that the vast majority of you see that 99% of police officers serve with integrity and courage. Although we know in our hearts that you are the silent majority, sadly, that may not be enough. Soon, we may have to ask for you to rise with us against the small but very vocal group of people in our city who resist everything we all strive to attain: freedom, safety, and the ability to live our lives happily and without fear. To the criminal element in our community, we do not fear you. We are not your punching bag, and we will not simply stand by and accept your verbal or physical assaults. No matter what craziness occurs, we will always protect our citizens and ourselves. No matter how weak our criminal justice system, we will hunt you down again and again until they put you away or you go away. No matter how weak our policies, we will find a way to make you understand that Louisville isn't where you want to live. Most importantly, though, take note of the following. If you actively resist or assault us, we will use every option available to take you into custody. If you use deadly force against us, or use or attempt to use a dangerous instrument or a deadly weapon against us, we will use deadly force against you, and we will stop the threat to us, our fellow officers, or the citizens we serve. To the sensationalists, liars, and race baiters, we are done with you. At first it was good enough just to sit back and watch your ridiculous spectacle. No more. Now your rhetoric, lies, and hate puts all of us, police officers and citizens alike, in danger. From now on, we will call you out each and every time you tell a lie, twist the truth, or otherwise engage in vile behavior meant to push your selfish agendas. If your behavior or untruth causes harm to us or the public, we will make every attempt to have you investigated, charged, and prosecuted at the local, state, and federal level. Your idiocy and lies are what caused the destruction in Ferguson and other cities around our country, and we won't be tolerating that here. We watched in shock most recently as some of you flat out lied to the media after a critical incident here in Louisville. Many in the media are self-serving too, and we watched as they stood on the sidelines and fanned the flames for financial gain. It is obvious to nearly everyone that you were attacking and lashing out at the police instead of attacking the real problem, those who commit crimes in our city and those who enable the criminal element. Are you not paying attention to what is happening around the country? As police are disempowered, the predominantly minority areas of cities, including Louisville, are suffering at the hands of killers and violent felons. Yet you continue to attack law enforcement. Your attacks can't stop the truth from shining through. The truth is that every day there are millions of encounters during which police officers interact peacefully with all kinds of people, even during very difficult circumstances. Your flawed logic and lack of reason regarding events that occur in our society makes you appear stunningly inept. Let me help you. All citizens in Louisville, regardless of race, creed, color, gender, or national origin, have the same rights and responsibilities. No one gets a separate set of rules. Politicians may fear you and your tactics. We do not. You and those you enable must abide by the law and comply with law enforcement like everyone else. If you refuse to comply, or even worse, attack a law enforcement officer, expect to be met with force. Your ridiculous demands and anti-law enforcement attitude has reached a level that is unacceptable. You want our attention? Well, you have it. Consider yourselves on notice. We challenge you to have the same integrity and dedication to serving the community that you say you seek in the police. We already have it. You need to get it. On behalf of the members of the RCFOP Lodge 614, that's in Louisville, Dave Mulchler, President. When I wrote Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, I had a lot of material to work with, so I had to choose for the first chapter what I thought was the worst case or the best example of how screwed up this whole idea of black mob violence and denial, also the picture of people who deny it and even encourage it. I chose Louisville. They had a huge episode of black mob violence there, but I put them at number one because of this quote. This is what they said a few days after this huge episode of black mob violence. "We really need to address white people's bigotry," said one of the local guys. "This is white people's work. It just has to change." The good book reminds us, cometh the hour, cometh the man. This is Colin Flaherty, also reminding you, don't make the black kids angry.